1, ejections, spit, dropped passes. Cowboys-Eagles, I feel good about Dallas. 2, who's the bad guy, the pirate or the provider? Red Zone Channel's going to have commercials. It's no longer 7 hours of commercial-free football. And Streameast as shut down as you spend I don't know how much and I don't know how many places for sports. 3, sports quick takes, including Ryan Clark says Arch Manning and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady aren't generational quarterbacks. And would you ever steal sports memorabilia from a child? It is Will Cain Country, streaming live every Monday through Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time at the Will Cain Country YouTube channel, terrestrial radio, 3 dozen stations across this great United States of America, and always on demand by subscribing to the podcast at Apple and on Spotify. If you subscribe at Apple on Spotify, you are in the front row seat for every Friday's edition of Cain on Sports, a sports-exclusive hangout of Will Cain Country. And we do this on a very tired morning, the day after, the hangover, after the first NFL game of the season. Cowboys-Eagles, Thursday night football, hour-long rain delay, early morning flight back in Dallas. Let's break down Cowboys-Eagles. Story number 1. 2 days, Dan, Tinfoil Pat, hanging out with us as always here on Will Cain Country, and I'm here to tell you and everyone listening, I feel good. I feel good about Dallas. Now, I understand that moral victories are for minor leagues, and I understand that deserves got nothing to do with it, in the famous words of Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven. But I feel like Dallas deserved to beat the Eagles. I feel like Dak Prescott deserved the victory. I feel like Dallas is on the verge of a very good season. I feel like Dallas is a playoff team. I feel like Brian Schottenheimer is the right coach. I feel like Dak Prescott is back. I think I'm going to be avenged. I think my reputation is going to be rehabilitated. I think we're about to have the year of Dak. And I mean everything I just said. I watched last night.
We know you do.
And I watch it not full of optimism. Even though you think that's what you hear from me now. I'm sort of a pessimistic sports watcher. I always think the other shoe's going to drop. So the Cowboys come out of the gates and they look good, right? They score on their opening drive. They're running the ball. Dak started out like 8 for 9, and any missed passes were really dropped passes by his receivers. But I didn't sit there right away and go, oh, wow, we're back, baby. We're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't do that. I'm not that fun to actually watch sports with because I am a little bit pessimistic. I'm always seeing what they're not pulling off or where the offensive line is failing, or I'm complaining about all the holding calls, the missed holding calls on the Eagles. So I'm not that fun, I feel like, to watch, at least the Cowboys. But, you know, like everybody, I tend to now scroll when I watch a game. And it's a bad habit, but it's sort of a way to have a communal viewing experience while you're alone. And I want to be alone. I don't want to watch the Cowboys in a bar. I was in New York City on Thursday night, and I had dinner with a friend, but I made sure that dinner was wrapped up and that I was headed back to the hotel in time for kickoff on Cowboys-Eagles. But it's weird because while I don't want to be in a bar, I will scroll throughout a game, and it's sort of like the chatter that you would otherwise get in a bar. But the problem with the conversation in the bar is it's only one step elevated from watching the game with your wife. You're going to get a lot of questions, and there's going to be a lot of observations that are annoyingly, 30 degrees off base. And so I don't want that. At least on social media, I can get something that I see as insightful, inflammatory, interesting, or angering. And there is a sizable contingent of Cowboys analysts. Now, these are podcasters and bloggers and ex-posters, not necessarily newspaper writers or television broadcasters, but a ecosystem of Cowboys deep divers on X. That does include radio hosts. And I would say there is a really strong instinct towards pessimism. They're all very pessimistic. It's really honestly the antithesis of Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith and you guys, quite honestly, paint the Cowboys fan as the ever the optimist we're going to win the Super Bowl. And there is a contingent of that within Cowboy fandom. But I actually think that is sort of the national casual fan of Dallas. That's the I'm at a game in Denver and I run into some guys wearing a Cowboys jerseys. You know what I mean? That the diehard, know a lot, deep dive fan of the Cowboys has really over the past, I'd say 5 to 7 years, taken on a really strong tone of pessimism. It really has. And it's annoying. It's annoying when you're scrolling because I think it's now, there's optimism, realism, and pessimism. And I don't think the pessimism is in line anymore with realism. And I want realism. I don't want gratuitous pessimism. And I don't need gratuitous optimism. What I'm getting at is I may be reacting to too much pessimism that I ingest a little bit when I'm watching the Cowboys. But I actually think I'm landing at realism. And it's only one game. So that's my objectivity. But I really liked what I saw from Dallas. Really liked how they looked. I mean, I don't know why you're shaking your head, tinfoil. That was an objectively good football team last night. They were good on the offensive line. After the rain delay, they were really good on defense, which suggests I should have some reason for optimism when it comes to this coaching staff. I liked the way they played. They made adjustments. I liked their emotional tenor, and the quarterback was lights out. There was really one problem, and that was dropped passes, and dropped passes from one of the best receivers in the NFL. It was most notably drop passes from CeeDee Lamb. He had, I think, 4 drop passes and 2 on the final drive that could have secured the win for Dallas. A few other bonehead mistakes, like George Pickens getting a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty in the red zone, or Miles Sanders fumbling the ball in the red zone. These were big problems. But they weren't the kind of problems where you go, this team is a problem. It looked like a team with a good culture. It looked like a good team with execution. And I'm going to add one more detail before you get to come in here and rain on my parade. I will say the Eagles are a very, very good football team. That was not a fluke. They dominated the Chiefs. They have things that present themselves to you that are very hard to answer. Jalen Hurts, who I've been reluctant to get on the bandwagon with, was Superman last night. He wasn't very good as a quarterback. I think he only had like 1 or 2 passes completed to the wide receivers. And yet he could run. He looked like Lamar Jackson. And I don't know what the Cowboys could have done better. There was talk of, did they have a linebacker spying Jalen Hurts? Even so, when the Cowboys did the right thing and maintained the pocket and kept him, well, he scampered between the guards and he got through. And he would get the 6 yards for a first down, or he would convert for the touchdown in the red zone. He was the difference. And that team is a really good team. Saquon Barkley. And that's not even counting Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, who were basically non-existent for the entire game. And maybe that's a reflection of the Cowboys' defense. And for the first quarter and a half, I thought, oh, that's going to be the problem. And by the way, this is why I drafted Dak Prescott in fantasy. This is why I drafted George Pickens. And this is why I drafted CeeDee Lamb. I'm in 3 leagues, and I have all 3 of those guys. I didn't double dip in any one league, and I believe in our league, the Will Cain Country or the Ruthless Country Ruthless, whatever the name is of our fantasy football league. I think I ended up with CD in our league, I think. I can't remember which one of them I have in our league. But my thought process was that the Cowboys are going to have to score a lot of points because the defense isn't going to be great. Well, the first 3 drives of the game last night made you think that. The Eagles marched down the field. But the Cowboys made adjustments. And I believe that Saquon Barkley, after that big, long rain delay, had 7 carries for 1 yard. after the adjustment.
Yeah,
Kenny Clark from the Packers, he was really good in shutting down the run. And give these defensive ends, 4 or 5 games. They're all very young. One is a rookie. Two of them are like second and third year. And there was some promise. I saw Brian Baldinger with his Baldy's breakdowns on X talking about how good some of these moves were from the Cowboys defensive ends. All I'm telling you is they're going to the Super Bowl.
Delusional.
You ever thought that maybe you're like part of a cult? Like you just have all these telltale signs.
It is very
sometimes.
cult-like, yeah.
Yeah.
Dak is the cult
Tell
leader.
me what I said. Tell me what I said that wasn't factually realistic.
So I was ready to come in here today and just crap all over the game and the Cowboys, but I have to admit I agree with everything you just said. They looked fantastic. I mean, they shut down a really, really good Eagles team and made them rely on Jalen Hurts to score touchdowns. They stopped Saquon Barkley, which is unbelievably insane, and one of the best receiving duos in the entire league. And that's not a fluke. That's not just because it's the first game of the season. It's because the Cowboys play great.
They did only have 20 points against a defense without one of the best players in the NFL on defense. So, and after getting ejected there,
which we need to talk about. Which we need to talk about after.
We will talk about the SpitGate, Jalen Carter, Dak Prescott, SpitGate. I mean, Patrick, defenses aren't built on one player. So when you say, they only got 20 points against a defense missing their best player, and I'm going to help your argument out a little bit. I actually think the Eagles defense was missing quite a few players. They lost Jalen Carter pregame to the SpitGate incident with an ejection. I think they had a few other guys that were out still recuperating from injury. But, I mean, I know it's all woulda, coulda, shoulda, but that offense effectively put up 27, 30 points. Like when you go into the red zone and you come out like they did on the Miles Sanders fumble, I think that was the same drive as the George Pickens unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, then, you are not getting stopped by the defense. You are stopping yourself. And on that final drive, when I think they had a real chance to win the ball game, I don't think that was, oh, wow, we're having a lot of trouble against this compromised defense. That was CeeDee Lamb dropping passes, man, which the Eagles were playing pretty good defense on. But Dak was dropping it in the bucket multiple times for CD. And he – what's that?
Except for the last one. That was a little –
My personal opinion is if the ball hits both your hands or goes through your arms, it should have been caught. And that last one, he had to lay out. I will give you that. He was flying through the air. But, I mean, do you disagree with me, Tinfoil? Like, literally, if a ball goes between your forearms, I think it should have been caught.
Yeah.
Regardless of your body position. I'm not that I'm some stud athlete, but, like, I was once told, if you can touch it, you can catch it. You know, so, I mean, certainly if you can touch it with two hands.
Yeah, but we're not the guys who can do that. But he literally is paid to do that, and he should be able to do that.
He's one of the best to do that.
Yes. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Yes.
You know who I liked? Yeah. You know who I liked on the Cowboys last night? Javonte Williams.
Wow, that was surprising and exciting. And by the way,
I liked him.
Did Javonte Williams go undrafted in our fantasy football league? In most leagues I was in, he was either a late pick or undrafted.
I don't know.
And last night I was thinking, man, Javonte, he scored 2 touchdowns last night. But to your point, Dan, I don't know what you're going to say. The way he ran was exciting. Like, he ran hard. He was taking, 2-yard runs and turning them into 5-yard runs. It wasn't sexy. He didn't have the breakaway. Miles Sanders had the breakaway run. And there's a lot of guys saying if that had been Jaden Blue, the rookie from Texas, it would have been a touchdown, and the Cowboys would have won the game. But Miles Sanders is old, and he got caught by a linebacker, by the way. A running back should not get caught by a linebacker like that. But he did. And he protected the ball. Zach Braun was trying to pop the ball out. But, I mean, I wasn't mad in the moment that Miles Sanders got caught because I'm like, wow, 50-yard run. Yeah. Didn't fumble the ball. Now we're on to, I think they were on 5-yard line at the end of that. But in retrospect, that was the play. Zach Bond made the play that saved the game for the Eagles. They score there. I don't know how the game turns out, but the Eagles weren't moving the ball on offense.
I think a lot of fantasy people got caught up in Miles Sanders' name because just 2 years ago, Miles Sanders was fantastic with the Eagles until Saquon got there. And then Javonte Williams was great with the Broncos, but I didn't see him being the outward back for the team.
We'll see how the season progresses. I mean, I think Jaden Blue, the rookie, is going to have something to say about it. But all right, let's talk about SpitGate for just one moment. So, Jalen Carter, Eagles defensive tackle, one of the best defensive tackles in the league, best player on their defense. In the opening huddle for the Cowboys, and by the way, guys, I'm going to be honest with you in the audience. I fell asleep twice in this game. I fell asleep at the very beginning, and I fell asleep during the rain delay.
Surprised you admit that.
Which I'm excused for. I woke back up. So I actually missed this SpitGate. So I've seen all the clips and the replays and the Zapruder film breakdowns. So this was after the kickoff, and Jalen Carter walks. Does he walk up to the Cowboys huddle as the Cowboys offense takes the field? When did this go down? Was that?
Yeah.
Is that when this went down?
Yeah, and then Dak kind of went towards him.
Well, but he walks I don't know what words. No one knows what words are exchanged. But Jalen Carter spits on Dak Prescott. He spits on his jersey, kind of, on his chest, would you say?
Yeah.
It's not in his face.
It's not a very accurate spit, I'll say.
And Jalen Carter is ejected from the game. Okay, so the talk during the game by all the commentators and everything is how irresponsible and everything it is by Jalen Carter, how selfish, and this and that. When you wake up this morning now, there's a Zapruder film breakdown of Dak spitting first. And now there's people like Dak is no angel or innocent in this entire exchange. He was a instigator. And there is video, and you can see Dak.
He's pretty far away, though. I'm watching it right now.
So that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I can acknowledge Dak spit, but I don't know that he's spitting at Jalen Carter. First of all, there's two offensive linemen between Dak and Jalen Carter. Like, you can see them in between them, right? The backs of those offensive linemen's jerseys. Dak is acknowledging Carter. I think he's saying something to him.
Yeah.
He's making eye contact.
I think.
And then Dak spits at the ground. He kind of spits downward at the ground.
Yeah, it's more.
And then he kind of
like
makes a face at Jalen Carter at the end of that. He's kind of like, what's that?
But even if it's not,
he's doing it more like, when you go up to someone and you're pissed or something and you want them to know, you just spit at the ground and like say "F you" or something like that. It was more like that, not spitting at him. Or
like a Greek guy. Yeah, like an
Italian
Greek guy. Hey.
Like Tony Soprano would do.
Yeah. Spat on the ground.
A little bit like Drewski did.
Yeah,
A little bit like Drewski did.
Literally like Drewski. Yes. That's exactly what it is. Yes.
And then I guess Jalen Carter's response is to spit on Dak. So what do you want? What do you guys want? You want me to say Dak should have been ejected too, or that what? This is what I think.
Fair is fair.
I think Jalen should have been. I think Jalen should have been ejected. I don't think he should be suspended. Like, there's talk, should he be suspended now, right? I don't think he should be suspended. And by the way, just as another aside, boy, the league is going to make people mad this year. They have really adjusted a couple of things. And you can call it soft or whatever, but the Eagles got called for taunting penalty, which apparently the announcer said it. Every team was warned. This is going to be. How do you guys feel about this? It was Nolan Smith got a big penalty for taunting on a good play, tackling, I think it was Javonte Williams, and he stands over him and flexes on him, and they're not going to put up with that this season. I'm a Cowboys fan. I watched that. I wasn't. You know when a player on the opposing team taunts one of your guys and you get mad, viscerally mad? I didn't feel any of that when that happened. But the league doesn't want to see any of that.
No fun league.
And then what was the other one? What was the other one? Was it Reed Blankenship's targeting a defenseless receiver on Jake Ferguson? That wasn't a nasty hit, but I will say, what is Blankenship supposed to do? He's trying to break up the pass. I don't know what he's supposed to do there. And by the way, the third one, I don't think George Pickens' unsportsmanlike penalty was that egregious either. He did kind of twist and throw the guy, but it wasn't like a a big, ugly thing.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
getting
know.
ticky-tacky.
The defensive player ones are going to be really problematic. It's very similar to like the targeting penalty in college football, where it's just going to be so subjective, and it's just going to be really ugly, I think, when it comes to that.
So did you guys, where are you? Do you think Dak needed to be ejected too? Was that, I mean, are you just going to do that to troll me?
No,
Do you
it's
really
just a
think
fun.
that Dak,
This is a fun thing to talk about.
I was going to, but I can't if I'm going to be objective. So no.
I did like his mustache, though,
nice.
by the way.
Be honest. Dak's looking good.
Yeah, he does.
Apparently the fiance's got him eating right.
Yeah.
He's trimmed up. I feel good. I'm feeling really good.
I'm clipping that.
Dak Prescott, Brian Schottenheimer. I'm feeling good about Dallas. Whose fault is it? The Pirates or the providers? Let's get into it with story number 2. Streameast is a streaming service, an all-in-one simple streaming service that helps you circumvent all the subscriptions, all the fees, and the fractured landscape of sports. Streaming service, after a year-long investigation, has been shut down. Streameast shut down. 2 Egyptian men, I believe, arrested at the end of this investigation. Streameast is not something I was familiar with, but it is apparently a very popular pirate service that a lot of guys are going to try to get around what has become an unmanageable sports landscape of subscriptions. Right now, and Dan, you laid this out for us. I thought this was really good. If you wanted to have a subscription, you can, if you're listening, decide here what you're not into. And I'll tell you what I'm into and what I pay for. For Thursday Night Football, you got to have Amazon Prime. Check. I have Prime. I get Thursday Night Football. For MLS, you got to have Apple TV. I have Apple TV. I don't really watch MLS. That's not why I have Apple TV. For Champions League, you got to have Paramount. I have Paramount. I have it for Taylor Sheridan and Champions League. That's why I pay for that. For NHL, Major League Baseball, and UFC, you need the ESPN, Hulu, Disney bundle Disney Plus. You got to have that bundle to get that stuff. If you are a fan of a team that's not a part of that, like I am with the Texas Rangers, then you're going to need to do something else. Like you're going to have to get Victory app. You're going to have to figure out your regional sports network for the NBA, the NHL, and for baseball at this point. So you're going to have to be paying for that. If you want to watch Sunday Night Football, you either need to have Peacock or a YouTube TV or cable TV subscription to get the NBC package. I have Peacock. I have it for English Premier League and for the Peacock exclusive NFL games. And then if you want to get all the NFL, you got to have the Sunday ticket. If you add all that together, that is multiple hundreds of dollars a month to get all that. Much more than what you were paying for cable. Now, I don't think it's fair to always comp it to cable because you didn't get all this with your cable. This is more than what you got with cable. So people kind of do harken back to a day that never existed. There was never a day when you got all these NFL games, all these NBA games, all these soccer games by simply having a cable package. You just didn't get that. You would have not had the games, or you've had to figure out some special subscription even in those days. But it is unwieldy, and it's scattered across the entire streaming landscape. And maybe as much as the cost, it's the complication of where is this? I have to do this all the time. Specifically, I have to do it when it comes to soccer. Where is that game? Mm-hmm. Is that game on YouTube TV or is that game on Peacock? It takes me a while to figure it out. Then it's like, am I still signed into Peacock? Oh, my gosh. I got to get back to my passwords and counts. And it's always like this every weekend. Where am I finding what? I will AI or Google that. Where is the Manchester City game? You know, I will do that before I start bouncing around the various apps. And apparently Streameast was one of the solutions for that. A lot of guys go into this piracy service because you got it all in one place and you got it for free. The question is, whose fault is this? Is this the pirates' fault? You know, essentially stealing from private companies that have paid for these rights. Or is it the provider's fault? for milking the customer at this point to the point of no return. And my answer is surprising for you, as much as I, love private business and think they should charge whatever they can get the consumer to pay. I do think that the sports world's going to have to look at this because I fear that the future of sports is the NBA. That's the future. And I think there are a lot of very dark storm clouds on the horizon for the NBA. And let's just stay with the NBA. Here's why. I've thought this for a while when working at ESPN. All your quote-unquote basketball experts don't actually watch basketball, especially the online experts. They don't watch games. They consume basketball via clips and highlights on Instagram and TikTok. I don't see it as much on X. And that's how basketball has gotten to be consumed, through social media. And that's really bad news for the leagues because you can't monetize social media in the same way that you can monetize a game where you can run multiple commercials throughout a 2-hour game. And I think that's what the consumer will do. I've actually I might have tried to pirate a game before when I couldn't find it literally anywhere, but I have never been that successful, guys. Every time I've done that, it's like a dozen pop-up windows.
And half
it's
of
real
them are
weird.
fake. They're not real. The ones you try to find.
Right. Dan, I haven't done that because I don't want to pay. It's like I can't find this game. Like, I don't know, is it not on in America? Or it's I think it's been more around soccer. It's like, where is this game? And
Mine's baseball.
My point is, I haven't had a good experience really ever, quote unquote, pirating a game. I really haven't. By the way, we didn't even talk about college football. Like, you want to watch Clemson? I've got to do the ACC network inside the ESPN app. Yeah. It's like, it's crazy. So, but my point is, what I think is going to happen is you're going to push all these fans into becoming an NBA-style fan, a social media consumer of sports. And I think there's a lot of people, if they're being honest, they kind of already are that way in a lot of ways. Go ahead, Tinfoil.
Oh, I was just saying that's my experience this weekend. It's like Florida State plays on the ACC network. I don't have that package, so.
Well, it's fine for Notre Dame. I can just watch on Peacock. It's all good.
Yeah. Not worth it.
Which you most definitely do.
Yeah, I totally watch.
We can tell by your fandom, your level of knowledge.
No, but
and Patrick, that ACC thing is hard because you got to do the ESPN Plus thing, and then I feel like ESPN Plus isn't enough to get you. Because I'm the same way. I want to watch my nephew. I want to watch Clemson versus Troy, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think that's just on ESPN Plus. I think I have to do something extra, like subscribe to the ACC network inside of ESPN Plus. And it's always asking me, well, who's your cable provider? Well, I have YouTube TV. It's asking me all these different things. I bet 500 on this, on getting through before I cry uncle.
And you know who it kind of like works for, the Streameast thing. You know, Jack, our buddy Jack brought this up for us, and he's a younger guy in his probably early 20s, and that's the audience that it really goes for, because they're not really going to pay for all these subscriptions. They don't want to. So that's the demo that you're going to get that's going to go on a Streameast and kind of do that kind of thing. So, you know,
yeah, but
what kind of consumer do you have moving on?
Like,
yeah.
Well, you got to have a consumer. You're not a consumer if you're not paying for it.
No, I know, but like when they get older,
on this.
Well, it's the same thing with like the Netflix crackdowns. You know, they were tired of people like piggybacking on their parents' plans and stuff like that.
Yeah,
forever.
It's like
forever.
Yeah. But I mean, like, in some ways, you know, as a family, it's like, you know, my brother might get Netflix and I'll have, you know, HBO Max, and, you know, we kind of
my family shares YouTube TV with Sunday Ticket. Yeah,
it's kind of nice.
My belief on this is if you live in the same house, if you're a dependent, then you can be on the same account, right? So what that would mean is if somebody lives in your house and I would say doesn't yet have a job, outside the house but doesn't yet have a job. So like in college, I think you should be allowed to be on your parents' accounts.
Cell phone bill.
But after college, it's time to get your own cell phone plan. It's time to get your own subscriptions, right? Come on.
I don't know. People
Like-
people in their like adulthood still share stuff with their family.
We just talked about this with Rachel too.
Yeah.
Like, think the economy is, people are multi-generational homes now.
Exactly.
And,
I
things
think,
are,
and I blame the companies. I mean, this stuff is so expensive. I'm looking at this, so all those subscriptions are over like $150 a month together if you have those.
All of them are.
Yeah.
I need to do a household accounting on how much I'm spending on all this stuff.
Yeah, and that's how they get you because you're spending, all right, it's $10.99 here, and then it's $12.99 here, and then it's $14.99 here. So you don't think about it as a whole, and you're just like, that's fine, Apple TV, yeah, I watch it once a month or something like that. And it just
That's
adds,
exactly right.
and it just adds up. I mean, I live 15 minutes from Yankee Stadium, and I can't watch a Yankee game without cable, unless I get the Gotham
Right.
app, which also has the MSG app, which is like $50. And if I want to watch the New York Rangers, I have to put an extra $15 on top of that, and it's crazy. And it just makes zero sense. So yeah, I would be pushed to a Streameast type website, which another one I'm sure will pop up after this is gone.
Well, that's the end for Streameast. But I do believe that the sports leagues and the networks, they're going to need to figure this out. And it is cost, but it's also complication. And so they could figure out the complication side of this by a bundle. There's got to be a coherent bundle at some point, which, by the way, is cable. And people have said this. We destroyed cable to reinvent cable. That's what we did.
It's so
We
true.
destroyed it to reinvent it.
It's so true. It's just cable. You're absolutely right. Like we're talking about all this stuff. It's just deconstructed cable. It's all it is.
Yeah, and now they're going to reconstruct it. That's what they're
Yeah.
going to do. They're going to reconstruct it over streaming, and you're going to buy whatever your
So
bundle is of things that you like.
Did we do that or did they do that? I don't know.
I think part of it
I think
was,
we did it first.
yeah.
Yeah.
And look, they're a business. We did it first. We demanded.
Mm-hmm.
The whole argument on cable is I don't want to pay for things that I don't watch.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody said, right? I spend, let's say
Which
back
now we
then,
do.
cable was $150 a month. That's right. It's like I shouldn't be paying for A&E or, Bravo if I don't watch A&E and Bravo. And everybody's argument was I only watch 3 channels. Okay, so we were all like, well, let's go. I'm going to go. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to do this. And it was great until all of a sudden, by the way, I'll bet you our consumption has gone way up. So we watch way more than we used to.
Big time.
And now you need more channels or more shows. You're not buying a full channel now. Now you're buying a show.
And there's still ads.
Which gets you a subscription. Yep. Yeah.
So it's just cable.
I don't know.
What are we talking about?
I think we did this to ourselves, but now yeah, I mean, I think the consumer is somewhat responsible for this.
Yeah.
I really do. I think the kids who won't pay for their own subscriptions are somewhat responsible for this. I think that all this freedom has turned into, well, we don't like the chaos and how much we're spending now. We're asking for the constriction of the bundle. I mean, so
I do think
my
some of
point,
it's
though, is
greed.
that the providers are going to have to make a change or they're going to lose the consumer. That's what I think they have to do. At some point, if you don't make a change, you're going to lose the consumer to Instagram. Or TikTok. Last word, tinfoil.
I do think some of it is corporate greed. Like when we first started, going down this route, there were fewer streamers, and then corporations started to realize, like, oh, hey, maybe we can actually keep our own.
Everyone wants a piece
stuff.
of the pie. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that created like all these different slices of pie all over the place instead of like 2 or 3 streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
So like you used to be able to get a Netflix and a Hulu and maybe one other, and now it's like everyone has one, which I think is a problem.
All right. Let's do a quick trip around, quick takes in sports before we go away. Story number 3. All right, a couple quick stories here in sports we want to hit on. First of all, Ryan Clark of ESPN. What? What are you making already hands and face for, Dan?
I'm very confused by this conversation, but I'll let you continue. It made me
I
so
don't
confused.
think I am. I think my take is going to be a little bit surprising.
I think
I think ours is too.
Ryan infuriates me on a lot of levels.
Yeah,
All of our takes? Okay, this will be interesting.
I think so.
Okay, so he says Arch Manning's not a generational quarterback, right? But then the conversation evolves. I don't know what show this on, First Take or Get Up. I don't know.
First take.
And then the conversation evolves, and he says this.
Few of them. I think there's less than what you think. I think John Elway was a generational talent. I think Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent. I don't think Tom Brady, I don't think Drew Brees, I don't think Peyton Manning are generational talents. I think Andrew Luck ended up being a generational talent. I don't think there's a ton of them out there.
All right, so here's the screaming headlines. Ryan Clark does not think Peyton Manning and Tom Brady were generational talents at quarterback. Okay. Before I tell you what I think, I actually want to hear from you guys. And I want to start with 2 days because all three of us think we have something different on this. I want to hear yours first, 2 days.
So when I first heard the clip, I'm like, that's insane. What are you talking about? Tom Brady and Peyton Manning are generational talents. You are an insane person. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then I thought about it for a second, and I was like, wait a minute. I think he has a point. And I kind of agree with Ryan Clark, and that confuses me as to why I agree with him on that. So, yeah.
And Dan and I were discussing this.
Go ahead, Tinfoil.
So Dan and I were discussing this, and we kind of came to a similar conclusion. I will disagree with Ryan Clark. I don't think that Patrick Mahomes is generational because I think he's more of a system quarterback. Like, he ended up in a great situation. And I've been saying this for a while. I think somebody else in the mainstream has followed up on that. But that being said, like, I think if Josh Allen is a generational kind of guy, he's got the tools and puts up the numbers.
Just depends what we're talking about of generational
exactly.
talent.
That's part of the question,
all right.
Too. Yeah.
So this is the game of first take. Trust me, as someone who's been inside. You always have to listen to the words of the proposed debate. The best debaters understand this. And by the way, Stephen A. in that clip, if you went on, he does a good job. Stephen A. is like, the operative word in this is Arch. Wait, I can't remember the framing of the sentence, but
do you believe Arch Manning is a generational QB?
Right.
Yeah.
Of course he's not a generational quarterback right now. Will he be? And that's what Stephen A. kind of alludes to. He's like, right now he's not, and there's no reason to believe that he is. Okay, so Stephen A. sort of gets to the issue there, though. And I think that Ryan would even disagree on that. I didn't listen to the whole segment, and so I need to be a little careful here about the argument Ryan is making. But my thought on what a generational quarterback is not how great of a quarterback you are. Like, he's not rejecting Tom Brady or Drew Brees or Peyton Manning's greatness. But I believe he's rejecting that they had the same path to greatness as John Elway. So a generational quarterback, if somebody says he's a generational quarterback, Tom Brady was never viewed as a generational quarterback. Never. At no point in his career until he already was. Do you see what I'm saying? He was a backup at Michigan. He was a backup at New England. It took a Drew Bledsoe injury for Tom Brady to become the starter. To me, a generational quarterback is a guy that everybody looks at as a can't-miss prospect from an early age. He doesn't explode onto the scene. He's the guy that everybody looks at and goes, that guy's coming. Everybody see that guy's coming. Years in advance. And they're going, I want to be at the top of the draft when that guy comes out. A guy like that only comes out once every 10 years. And I think that's what a generational quarterback is. I know a generation isn't only a decade. But I think you can reasonably expect a generational style quarterback once every 10 years. That's not complete because it's not just about hype and recruitment. It's also, you used the word, Patrick, toolboxes and talent. There are things that this guy does that are different than everybody else. Tom Brady never had that. He had the brain, and that didn't stand out because we don't scout the brain as well. But we can scout athletic talent. We can scout arm ability. And when you have hype recruitment and measurables and talent, now you're talking about a generational talent. And I do think he was right about Andrew Luck was an example of someone who was seen as a generational talent. Now, obviously, Andrew Luck didn't end up as great as Tom Brady. So that's not the debate. It's not who ended up the best quarterback of all time or greatness. It's about, I disagree with you, Patrick, but I think you're half right. I think Patrick Mahomes is a generational quarterback. I think you're 100% wrong about the system quarterback thing. I think Patrick Mahomes would be great wherever he is. and he shows skill and talent and just unique athletic ability different than almost every other quarterback in the league. The trick on Patrick Mahomes is not everybody thought that when he was coming out. Yours truly included. You heard me on First Take on the day of the draft saying everybody says his fundamentals are bad. And I was right. Everybody said that. That's why he went 10th and not first, right? And so he's sort of got half the components Mahomes does of a generational quarterback. But as his career's played out, even starting his first year, he didn't start his first year, so it was his second year. Immediately it was obvious this guy is different. This guy's generational. I think that Ryan Clark was wrong about Peyton. I think Peyton was probably seen as that. Mm-hmm. Don't you think? Like when he came out, he had the same level of expectation as Andrew Luck. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, there was guys talking about Peyton for years before Peyton became. So the only one that makes sense to me, well, Brady and Breeze. I would agree. Okay, I'd accept your argument that they weren't generational quarterbacks. Manning was, Luck was, and Arch may yet still be. He may yet still be. If he plays awesome at Texas over the course of this season and maybe next year, then he'll be seen as a generational quarterback in the vein of Andrew Luck. That's my thought.
Do you see a guy like Aaron Rodgers as a generational quarterback?
No.
Really? As a generational talent, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks at the position that's ever done.
I know. And this is the thing about First Take. It's a semantic game.
Like they didn't have they weren't promoted.
I think that's a pretty
early
good
enough
comp.
on. Yeah. Even though they had all the skills.
Mm. And he sat behind Favre for a while. You know.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good comp.
Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent technically because he came out.
Oh,
he
had hype. He had hype in junior year of high school.
Everybody thought he was going to be.
Junior year of high school, people were talking about
Everybody thought
him.
he was going to be.
Well, did he win?
Yes.
Did he win the Heisman?
No.
No,
I don't remember.
I know he won a national championship.
But Trevor shows the flawed nature of projecting a quote unquote generational quarterback.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's not lived up to his billing.
Mm-mm. Not even remotely.
I think part of it's coaching.
So I think we all agree. We kind of get what Ryan Clark is getting at, right? And as much as Ryan Clark says crazy things from time to time or infuriating things, I can't jump on the internet bandwagon of like, this is another one of them. I mean, I think that the internet is turning this into Ryan Clark said Brady and Breeze and Manning aren't great quarterbacks.
Yes.
And my suspicion is that's definitely not what he was doing.
No, I agree. I think that was the clip for it.
All right, let's do one more story in quick takes, and that is what happened at the U.S. Open. By the way, I watched a little U.S. Open, not during the game, so you know what I don't watch much anymore is SportsCenter, but I was at the bar before the game, and it was Sabalenka versus Pegula. But this is the semifinals. Do y'all know Pegula is the female semifinals?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know who her dad is?
Oh.
No idea.
Buffalo Bills owner.
No way.
Terry Pegula.
Oh,
That's wild.
Yeah, she's the daughter of the owner of the Buffalo Bills.
I love tennis.
Well, I kind of like Sabalenka. So I had a couple of thoughts.
No, I thought the exact same thing as she was walking out. I was like, hello.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And I don't hear that talked about, Dan. I don't know if I have unique observations or not, but
I think you and I have similar.
Maybe you join me.
Yeah.
But so two quick thoughts on the U.S. Open. Sabalenka, so they won't show, she, I looked this up. I said to my buddy, why does it have a blue flag next to her name? And he goes, I think she's Russian, and they won't show the flag. I was like, no, really? He's like, yeah. So we looked it up. She's not even Russian, dude. She's Belarusian. She's from Belarus. And the standard is, since they're buddies with Russia and the war in Ukraine, that you can't show the flag. And I'm like, hold on a minute. Who are you punishing here? Her or me or Russia? Like, who is, you're punishing her, and she didn't invade Ukraine. And by the way, she's from Belarus, so you're punishing Belarus for what Russia did. But you're also punishing me because I don't get to know where she's from. I just have to see this plain blue flag. And I'm like, it's me in the end. It's the one that's harmed by this moral stand you're taking, U.S. Open. And then in the other women's semifinal, it was another American, like Asimov or something, against Naomi Osaka, who I thought was an American. Yet she has the Japanese flag. And I'm like, when did Naomi Osaka renounce America? She did
Whatever
that.
you want.
So she plays under the banner of Japan now? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I want to know when and why with Naomi Osaka. And that makes me mad. How'd I get on the U.S. Open? Oh, because earlier in the tournament, do you want to set this up, Patrick? I saw the videos and I did read it. Who was the player, the tennis player? I don't know who it was.
That's a great question. I have it in my note, but I don't know how to pronounce it. So this is very problematic.
Camille Majrzak. He goes up after he plays to sign stuff, right? He's signing hats. He's signing those big tennis balls. He's signing stuff for people. And there's a kid right in front of him. What'd you say, like 8, 9, 10 years old type kid?
Yeah, about that.
And
10 at least.
he takes his hat off. He takes his hat off to hand it to the kid. And an adult man standing next to the kid grabs the hat, snatches it for himself, and kind of turns away. And the internet explodes like, no matter how bad of a guy you are, you're not worse than this guy. Like the guy snatching stuff.
The
from
worst
this
guy
kid.
you know is not as bad as this guy.
But his wife was in on it because the guy took the hat and put it in his wife's bag.
I don't think she
And
knew
then
what was
his
going
wife-
on.
No?
I think she was just a bystander.
Oh, okay.
Well, the internet did its thing, and they found this dude, and he's the CEO of a Polish paving firm. His name is Peter Cezurek. Man,
Piotr.
I'm telling you, these
they got to
Europeans,
figure out how
man.
to spell things over there. I know. Look at the
Pol-
spelling.
Polish,
I want to
think.
spell this for the audience. Piotr. I'm taking that's Peter.
Piotr.
Piotr.
Pronounce it Piotr.
Piotr. And then, how about this last name? Szczyzerek.
It's like Mike Krzyzewski.
Can you do that?
It's just consonants, really.
Cezarek? Is it Cezarek? Cezarek? Did I do? I think I did a good job.
That's not bad.
It's as good as I can do.
Better than Patrick. I mean,
Oh, so the internet's gone after this guy. I think that his company's getting yelped. You know, it's getting destroyed. Which I did see some people say that really stinks for all the people that work at his company.
yeah.
all the people had nothing to do with this. This
Because your
CEO
boss
did
is a
this.
D-bag.
It is a total D-bag move.
It's worse
Total
than that.
D-bag.
No. It's worse than that. This is the worst type of person. I don't care. It's the autograph adults. I think it is ridiculous. And on top of that, to steal it from a kid,
Worse than pedophiles?
no. I wasn't going that far. We're in a realm of like
Oh.
things that are bad, not evil.
Well, you said the worst type of person.
It's hypocrisy, really.
Within reason of
I was confused. 'cause you
within
said worst
reason
type
of
person.
morality and evil, I think we can separate those two things. But yeah,
Rapists,
sure.
Is this worse
Yeah.
than somebody? Is he worse than somebody that is extremely rude to wait staff?
Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, this is a little worse than that. Just a little bit, though.
Really?
See, that-
Just a little bit worse, yes. Because
What
there's
if he just had a weak moment? The person that's rude to wait staff is revealing their character.
True.
And you could say this guy was too, but what if it was just a really bad weak moment for him?
A weak moment. He looked so smooth with doing that. He's definitely done that before. The way he was putting it in the bag, he has definitely been in that situation before, and you can't convince me otherwise.
You think he's a serial snatcher
He's a
at
serial
like autograph signing?
He's a serial a-hole and gets whatever he wants and takes whatever he wants, is what I'm saying.
Have you guys hung out with Piotr? Have you guys hung out with Piotr? Yeah, he throws it down, man.
Yeah.
Piotr loves his vodka. I know. But have you ever been to an autograph signing with him?
Yeah.
No, what? Dude, it's always snatching stuff.
Maybe he's just a
He's a
kleptomaniac.
serial snatcher.
Maybe he just goes into stores and steals gum and things.
But I knew Dan was going to
I
have
think you were about to
this
defend
take.
Piotr.
Me? I was going to defend.
Why?
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that I knew Dan would be just completely outraged by this.
What,
But
because I'm a Dem?
there's got to be a part of you somewhere that's like, would you consider doing this for the right merchandise? You know?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right.
I know you wouldn't. I know
Dan,
you wouldn't.
No, I like this, Patrick. I like putting everybody's high horse of morality to the test.
Let's do it.
So Dan is a fake fan, so this is going to be hard to find. Who is Dan a real big fan of? You know what? I think we got to go outside the realm of sports. I think it's going to be in music. Who is your biggest, like, you're the biggest fan of who, Dan? Some band? Some singer?
Ryan Adams. Not Brian, Ryan.
Ryan Adams.
You know Ryan Adams?
Learning more about you. You are not garage band. You're like,
No, it's like folk Americana.
you are skinny jeans and zip up boots. That's who you are.
A lot of denim.
That's right.
A lot of denim, a lot of buttons, a lot of tattoos, that kind of thing.
New York, New York.
Yep. I just saw him 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so Ryan Adams comes out. You're standing there. There's like 50 of you.
Oh, this is tough.
And he has his guitar. And he hands his guitar towards the crowd. Standing next to you is a 13-year-old girl screaming, shrieking, maybe even annoying. Maybe she's even annoying, you know. And he hands that out. You're telling me you don't reach for the guitar. You say, go ahead, Adeline. Grab the guitar.
Oh, man. God, you're good at this game. You know what? You know what I would do because I'm a good person? I would grab the guitar. I would hold it. I would smell it. I would strum it. I would maybe even play a full song on it. And then I would give it to the girl after that. Just to experience it. You know, there's a middle ground.
Easy to say on a podcast.
I know.
Easy to say on a podcast.
I would
I'd
run
love
with
to
that.
see you in real life.
I would run with that mother so bad.
Yep, and then somebody gets you on video and you're destroyed.
And I'm kicked off this show. I lose my job.
I don't know who mine
wife.
is. I met one of mine last weekend, Vince Young, maybe Kevin De Bruyne. If Kevin De Bruyne was handing a jersey, it'd be real hard for me. I want to give it to my sons. That's what I'd want to do with it. You know, it'd be tough.
If it was Derek Jeter, I think Derek Jeter's a good
be the
one.
hat. Let me put it this way. It certainly wouldn't be the hat of Kamil Mezrazik.
That's when you know this guy's a problem. He just, it's not even like Djokovic or anything. Like if it was Djokovic, I'd kind of understand. You could resell it.
All right.
Be better.
We got a big NFL weekend that's kicking off. It's the first one of the season. Good luck to your Jags. Good luck to your Packers, kind of, with Micah Parsons. And we hope you have a fun college and pro football weekend. We'll be right back here again on Monday. We hope you will subscribe and come hang with us every Monday through Thursday at Will Cain Country on YouTube. We'll see you again next time.